myself kind of sad and depressed, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to turn to my family. I'm going to talk to my family about this, and that's you guys. So here I am. I have a friend, and she's probably going to watch this and hate me, but I'm not going to mention her name or anything like that. But I have a friend that I've been friends with for many years, and she went through some really, really, really rough stuff when we first became friends. And she would sometimes text me at 3 a.m. needing somebody to talk to. And of course, I was always there. And I always answered. And I never downed her. I was never like, why are you texting me at 3 a.m.? I never did that. You know, like I think a lot of people would do. Well, a lot of people in my life would do that to me. If I texted them at 3 a.m. just because I was down or something, you know, like that. And not to mention, this friend, by the way, lives several states away. This is not a friend that lives near me or has ever lived near me. This is not a friend that's ever lived in my vicinity. I've never met her face to face. We met on an online diary site called Bloop, and back when I was in high school, if you can imagine that. So a long time I've been friends with this girl, and I went through a phase in my mid-20s where my mental state just crashed, and I was having daily hallucinations. I was suicidal every moment of every day. I had absolutely zero happiness, and unfortunately that's kind of common with schizoaffective disorder, where there are years of your life that just kind of get sucked out of you and you can't function. And as I told you before, I've not been able to afford proper medical care for myself, which I need to, and I'm working on, you guys. Don't worry. I'm doing the best I can here. But anyway, I went through a rough patch, really bad rough patch. And for a while, I had a couple of GoFundMe pages because I couldn't work. I would try, but I would get there and I would have a huge anxiety attack, and I would end up having breakdowns in the store or wherever it was I was working, normally a store. And then the few times I did get a job that seemed I was doing a decent enough job about it, they would find out about my diagnosis and things would change. They would never say that they were firing me for my diagnosis, obviously, but they would find something small and petty to fire me. Like, for example, I worked for a retail store, and I was there for a few months, and I was doing really, really good. And the, district manager came in and told the manager there that she was going to start training me to be a key holder, which is kind of like this step below manager or supervisor. It means that you're being trusted with all the keys to the store. And the manager did not like that at all, because she was very much big on bragging, oh, I got my manager job here within 6 months of working for the company because I'm so good at my job. And so here I am, I've only been there a couple months, and they're already talking about making me key holder, so that pissed her off. And then she found out, I don't remember how, oh wait, yes I do, she knew my cousin. And my cousin, he wasn't trying to mess me up, he just mentioned that our family had a history, and that I had a history, because he had an interview there, I think. Anyway, somehow she found out, according to her, and she started asking me a lot of questions about my diagnosis and what was wrong with me and what would happen and so on and so forth. I didn't think anything of it. And one day I came into work, and usually they had a task list for me. As soon as I came in to work, they'd hand me my task list, and they'd say, okay, before you open your register for the day, we need you to do these things. I come in one day, and she does not have a task list for me. So I was like, okay, apparently she's busy, something's going on, so I'll just start what I think is normally my tasks. So I start straightening up, and I noticed that her secondary, like one step below her manager, is also there, and they're not usually there together. Well, her secondary comes and gets me, and she's like, can you come in the office? The three of us need to talk. And I was like, okay, sure. So they take me into the back office, and they say, $300 has gone missing from the safe. And I was like, holy shit. Okay, what does that got to do with me? They're like, well, we don't know who took it. I was like, well, first of all, I don't have keys. Second of all, the safe is on a time lock. It can only be opened at certain times with a certain password and a key. And it's on camera 24/7. I think you know it wasn't me, because you can check your cameras and see I've never even gone near the safe. They go, yeah, well, we saw that you didn't go near the safe, but we've seen some suspicious behavior. I said, what? Specifically what? Suspicious behavior. They said, you tell us. I said, there hasn't been any, so you tell me. What suspicious behavior? Well, that's part of the investigation. We can't discuss it. But until the investigation is done, you're on suspended leave, 2 weeks, no pay. No, excuse me. She said it wasn't 2 weeks. She said that the investigation should take 2 weeks, but that I was on unpaid leave until it was concluded. Well, I told her then, I said, I'm going to give you my house number, my grandmother's number, my mom's number, because my cell phone was a monthly paid cell phone, and the payment was coming up. And I was like, since you're taking me off of pay, I'm not going to have a paycheck to pay for my cell phone to be on. So I'm going to need you to call one of the numbers I'm providing you to let me know when this investigation is over and I can come back to work. She goes, okay, I got it. I was like, no, I haven't even written it down yet. She's like, no, I've got your contact information from when you applied. I said, yeah, which is my cell phone. And I've told you I'm not going to have the money to pay for my cell phone because you're taking me off my job. So she takes the piece of paper I hand her with the phone numbers, and I leave. And I was livid, you guys. I was pissed. And I go home and I'm crying my eyes out because I had worked so hard to not have a breakdown at that job. And a couple weeks go by, and I'm like, all right, she said that the interview or the investigation should take 2 weeks. So I'm going to call her and I'm going to find out if she's tried to call me. So I call her, and she immediately cusses me out. I told you I would call you when the investigation is over. You don't need to call me. I was like, well, do you still have my house number and all that? Because my cell phone is turned off. Yes, I have your house number, Anna. I'm like, all right, look, this is my job. This is my livelihood. I can't pay for anything without. I have 2 children that I was at that time trying to support on my own as a single mother. I need to know these things, so don't fucking cuss me out for calling and trying to find out what's going on with my job. Well, a few days longer go by, and I get a letter in the mail saying that I have been fired from my job. Forget this, no call, no show. I called her and I was like, excuse me, no call, no show? I called you. I asked you when I could come back. You told me not to call again. Told me you had my phone numbers. You've called none of my phone numbers because they all have voicemail. There's no voicemail from you. Well, that's not my problem. You didn't keep in touch. I was like, you told me not to call back. So, in other words, long story short, she set me up. When she found out that I had a diagnosis of schizoaffective disorder, it was all she needed to get rid of me and keep me from getting that key holder position. And my point in telling you this story is going back to my friend. This is why I was asking for help at the time. I had, like I said, I had 2 kids. At the time, I was trying to support on my own. I did eventually end up having to find more permanent help, and I'll explain that in another video. Yes, I'm with my children. I'll explain everything in another video, but anyway, but at the time, I was desperately trying to figure it out on my own without having to give up everything, you know, without having to, you know, give up rights and move away from my family and whatever. So I made some GoFundMe pages, and there were 2 things that I talked about in my GoFundMe pages. One was my mental disease, and the other was my back issues. Because as I've told you before, I was in a very abusive relationship, and I have extreme back damage from it. Because he would beat me in the back with the metal end of a water hose. He hit me with his van. He would ram me into the cement block wall in his room. So, I mean, I have a lot of damage down my back, a lot of nerve damage and disc damage and stuff like that. So I mentioned that also. I was like, look, not only do I have these mental problems, not only do I have these diagnoses that kind of keep me from getting every job, but I also have these extreme back troubles that keep me from being able to get jobs where I can lift a heavy amount all day. You know, a lot of jobs want you to be able to lift, you know, 5 pounds or 10 pounds or more repetitively throughout the day, and I can't do that. In fact, last year, my doctor hospitalized me overnight because he was worried that my back damage had gotten to the point that it could cause paralysis. And so he wanted to do some tests and see if maybe I was in trouble. Which thankfully at the time, he said that the damage was... Sorry, I was waving to somebody. He let me over. He said that the damage was bad, but it was not going to paralyze me. So that was good news. But anyway, I made these GoFundMe pages. And then, around that same time, I've told you guys about I think I've told you about my dear friend Marin. You'll hear a lot about him. He's actually my ex, but he and I have been best friends for so long. And we love each other very much. Not in that way. Relationship-wise, we didn't work out. But friendship-wise, we'll always be friends. But anyway, he was living with a roommate and her husband. And his roommate was causing all kinds of problems. And decided that she didn't like me, having never spoken to me. I'd never spoken to this girl. I knew nothing about her. And she was spreading rumors about me and telling Marin that she was going to kick him out if he spoke to me. I mean, just a bunch of mess. And then his ex-girlfriend, she jumped on the same bandwagon and decided that she hated me too, because she decided to cheat on Marin, and I said something to Marin about it, and she found out, and blah, 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 drama. I got on Facebook, and because she said something about I didn't need to have her name in my mouth. So, of course, I'm angry, I'm ill, I'm in pain, I'm depressed, I've lost my job, I'm trying to find help, and then this happened. So I got on Facebook, and I said, and I quote, your name is in my mouth. Anger courtesy of my inner demons. And it was to her, and she knew who it was to. But my friend that I'm talking about then gets on Facebook. And after the years and years of friendship we've had, and all the times that I would answer her texts and be there for her at 3 a.m. and literally tell my boyfriends or whoever I was with at the time, hush, I'm going to talk to her, she needs me right now, she sends me a message and says, due to your drama all the time, I have to unfriend you. And let's make something clear. I rarely get on social media. I have social anxiety, and social media is the same thing. I am literally having to teach myself to be more social, to make this channel, because I want to make a difference and I want to give back to the world, and I want to get out of my comfort zone and learn and grow. But at this time in my life that I'm talking about, I wasn't at that point yet. I was still very depressed and down. And so when I got this message saying, you know, all you do is whine about your problems, I'm going to unfriend you, I messaged her back and I was like, there is such a thing as a little tab in the corner called hide posts. If you don't want to see those posts of mine, you can hide them from your timeline. You can tell Facebook not to show you those kinds of posts when I post them. And I don't know why me saying that offended her so bad, but she was livid at me. And she's like, yeah, be a smart ass bitch. I was like, what? I was serious. You don't have to unfriend me. If the messages bother you, just tell Facebook to hide them from your feed, right? It ends up being this huge fight. And by the end of it, I was being nasty. I had gotten angry. I'd gotten to the point where I was done. And I felt like she was being completely unfair, that she was really stabbing me in the back because I was in need of support. No, I didn't expect her to go to my GoFundMe and send me money, okay? The whole point of a GoFundMe is to help somebody if you can. Yeah, it was up on my Facebook, but I never spammed her. I never specifically sent it to her and said, please help me. I almost said her name. I never said, please help me. Never. It was just on my Facebook page. So, what her problem with it was, I don't know. So then she pops up and just goes, you know what, fuck you, we're done, we're not friends anymore, and she unfriends me. Well, that was about, I don't know, a year ago or so, and we're too old for petty nonsense. So, when I made my new Facebook page for this channel, I wanted to share with her that I was bettering my life and trying to make a name for myself and make a career for myself. So I sent her a friend request. And I get a message today saying, why are you friending me when you were so nasty to me the last time we talked? And I told her, I was like, look, I am sorry that I was nasty with you the last time we talked. I feel like you were really unfair, but that's the past. We're adults. We can get beyond it. It's water under the bridge. Let's just forget it ever happened. Apparently, she doesn't feel that way, because she goes, I wasn't unfair. I was just telling you the truth. I was just being honest. You know that. You know I come at it with honesty. I was like, well, your truth is something I don't agree with. And I pointed out, I was like, all the texts from at 3 a.m. because, you know, you got shot at, or you were afraid you were going to use again. You know, during the times when she was trying to fix her life, I was there. And she goes, yeah, well, during the same time, there were times that I didn't eat for days, and I was homeless, and I lived in my car, and I didn't tell anybody. Nobody knew about it until now, and it's 1.5 years later. And I was like, okay, so you chose not to reach out to your friends and family. I've got 2 kids. I don't have the luxury of just worrying about myself, number 1. And number 2, you made a conscious decision not to reach out. I made a conscious decision to reach out. And to make it clear, with both GoFundMes, I, in all, received about $100 total. And GoFundMe takes a percentage of that. So I actually only got about $95 or $92, something like that, in all, in the entire year and a half the GoFundMe existed. So it's not like I was getting bukus of money for no work. I had a couple friends that at the time wanted to help and were nice enough to make a donation to me and my kids. And it went to gas and car insurance to get the kids back and forth to school. So it's not like I was just raking in the dough and doing nothing to earn it. And I also had on my GoFundMe that anybody that was near enough to me could ask me to come, like, clean their house or detail their car or whatever if they wanted me to work for the donation. With jobs that I could handle. So I wasn't just, begging for the sake of begging. So I messaged her and I was like, look, like I said, I don't agree with your truth. I don't believe that what you did was fair. I believe you turned your back on a friend when your friend was in need. But like I said before, it is water under the bridge, and there's no reason for us to be going through this right now. Why can't we just let it go? And she is still going to hate me, apparently, because during a really hard time in my life, I turned to my friends and family, or attempted to. And like I said, even then, one friend responded, and that was Jared and Susan, Susan is the sister of my ex-husband, and Jared is her husband, who I went to school with. And they only helped because A, I have children, and B, Jared is a pastor, and so he wanted to do what he considered the godly thing to do. I don't know. The reason I'm sharing this with you guys is I need to know your opinion. Is she right to hate me for my reaching out a couple times on Facebook for a few months and for voicing my anger and depression online and expecting my friends and family to be supportive? I mean, does she have a right to hate me? Or am I right and she should have returned the favor that I gave her when she was in need years before that? You're my family. You're my friends. I trust your judgment. And I'm not always right. There are a lot of times I'm in the wrong. And I need to know, which one is it this time? Let me know, guys. Anyway, I am at the grocery store, as you guys can see. And I am fixing to go in and talk to Mike for a minute. And then I've got to go home, and I'm going to edit this and upload it. And then I've got actually a couple videos that I want, a couple more videos planned out for today. So hopefully today is going to be chock full of fun and interesting educational videos. So I love you guys. If you're new here, please like, comment, and subscribe with notifications on, and then share me on Twitter and Facebook and any other platform that will take it. Let's get the word out there and let's start changing the world together, you guys. I love you all so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!